zikufanele. Her name is Deli Maguda. Izibongo zikufanele wena Jesu on Radio K Pulpit 7 to 9 a.m. on this rather beautiful Wednesday evening. The sun is still shining, of course, in the city of Cape Town, but it is a beautiful evening, beautiful day. It was not too hot today, was it? Around 28, thereabout. So it wasn't bad at all today. So we had really beautiful weather out today. So I'm hoping that you also having a lovely day, had a lovely day. We just get on straight to it. We've got YENA KHUBHONI, who is coming to talk to us about wealth creation. I was literally licking my fingers for this one, money and relationships, because money can either make or break relationships. YENA, good evening.
Good evening, Given. Good evening to the listeners. And that is true indeed. Money can make and break relationships. Often, as couples, especially married couples, we undermine with the value of money. And sometimes all these things that happen, or breakages or cracks, are accelerated because we're not financially compatible. So today, Given, I want us to this is the month of love. So last week we promised the listeners that for the whole month of February, we will be talking relationships and money, all types of relationships. For today, I want us to start and talk about the people that are dating. When you are still dating, you're not married, you're in a romantic relationship, whether you're engaged, but you are not married yet. And then next week, we'll look into when people who are already married.
All right.
Yes. So today I was in the cast, we call them Jolling Joe. So we're talking to the Jolling Joe people.
Yeah. All right. So let's get on with it, YENA. Let me just give you the space so that you can put in as much as possible.
Yes. So basically what I wanted to highlight today and take out from this was that as much as it's important when we're dating, we look into things like making sure that we are compatible, we like similar things, we have similar habits, and also that the other thing that you need to date, we need to do whilst dating and before you actually get married is to make sure that you are financially compatible with your partner. So make sure that you check those things before you go ahead. And I know often we wait until late for these things, but it's important that we do it now. And one of the things that I want the listeners to do is that maybe the one thing that I want to highlight is planning, financial setting goals and financial planning. So it's important for you to set goals and start financially planning as an individual whilst you're still dating. So you there's things that you set, and it's important for saving. So there's different things that you set. For example, with males, if you are a male and have a desire or intention that in the future you want to date or marry, and you want to marry an African woman, you know that there will be a lobola process there. Lobola means money. So you need to start saving now. Yes, you may be, even if you are still single and you don't have a partner at the moment, or you just met YENA last week, at this very moment you are not sure whether you're gonna go down the aisle with her or not, but the fact of the matter that you know in your heart of hearts somewhere in the future you want to get married, you need to be having a lobola fund and start saving on that instances. And the other thing that I usually I'll talk about when people before I get to the more formal part is that I know the people are just wanting and waiting to know, do we give girlfriend allowance? Do we give boyfriend allowance? How does it go? So we know we've been talking about this, Given there's a budget and there's a set template for the budget. After your 10%, there's all that you take to the tithing, there's the 3% that you go for self-development, and then there's the 10% for investment and savings. So under that percentage for your wants, that's where you then put your girlfriend or boyfriend allowance if you want to give your girlfriend or boyfriend an allowance. But that's purely something that you choose to want to do or not. But what I also encourage during this time is to make sure that you emphasize or focus on things that are qualitative and not materialistic. And this is very important when you actually get to a point where you get married. So focus on building a strong emotional connection and intellectual connection with your partner, and creating meaningful experiences together, rather than relying on material possessions that are just only you can only get through monies. Because when you get married, this is one of the things that actually makes and breaks relationships or marriages sometimes. So cultivate a relationship based on mutual respect, trust, emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy, and a more quality time over materialism. So if you do decide to give your girlfriend allowance, do that. But I want to just also, before I move to the more formal stuff, just advise our brothers out there, if you have a child and you are not married and you're dating someone who is not the mother of your child, it is not right for you to be giving someone else a girlfriend allowance when the mother of your child is struggling. So you need to make sure that you take care of your responsibilities. I'm not saying people must stay in relationships that they don't want or they don't want to be anymore, but you have a responsibility because you have the child. The same goes for women, because some women actually leave their children with their fathers, with the fathers of the babies. You need to make sure that as you slay, as you do all those things, it's your right to do it with that percentage of your wants in the budget, but make sure that your little one is taken care of. It is with your grandmother, it must be for real reasons. Grandmothers have a place in the child's life, but you need to mother as a mother and father.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So make sure that before you girlfriend allowance, you have that. So the other thing, given that we always scared of, is having financial conversations early. I know some people are like, no. So early is dependent and is variable from person to person. I can't say second date, third date, or fifth date. You and that person will see how comfortable. But as soon as you are comfortable with each other, I would highly, highly encourage that you have those financial conversations early. So you talk, you discuss with your partner and have transparency and talk about your backgrounds and values and goals. So because there's certain things where there's YENA, who's got, you feel, has good strong financial principles, and there's Joe, who also got that, and they're together. But you find that in my background, I grew from leg, so I'm a hogger, and my beliefs are very different. As much as right now it seems like I'm good with money, and you find that Joe has a different set of beliefs, and those things clash when it comes to marriages, and sometimes it's irreconcilable. So you need to make sure that you get those things clear up and find out, are you compatible from a value system, from a financial background system, and also so that you understand that, okay, when YENA does this with money, it's because there is certain things from my childhood or from traumas that comes up. So you can also find things out by prioritizing. What am I prioritizing when I have money? As what is it that is the other person prioritizing? So you have those conversations, and you look and you observe. Dating, I always say, dating is a time of questions and observations. Questions and observations. So look at your partner. What is he doing when they have money? Or how are they? How do they handle those situations when they are met with unexpected financial commitments? What happens? How are they? What's their attitude? How do they handle it when they get money that they weren't expecting? What do they do? How do they handle it? Do they suffer? And then as you go on, also be transparent with your own individual goals. At this stage of dating, you don't necessarily have to have one budget per se, but as my boyfriend, you look at YENA and say, okay, when YENA budgets, she pays for X, Y, Z, and this is what she does save, she doesn't save, she's investing, and so on. And so you can see if there's shared values there, if there's shared financial values in the system. And the other thing is to look for red flags. When you are dating me and you're my boyfriend, you look at YENA and say, am I excessive in spending? Do I borrow money frequently? And how am I when you bring these financial matters? And when I save, or when I talk about saving, investing, what is my priorities there? And you check if you're aligned. And obviously this goes from boyfriend from both males and female. This is something you both need to talk about. And as you go on, you need to also discuss and think, okay, when I get married or when we get married, I would like this type of a lifestyle, this, and then have realistic goals and see if you want to. Now, other thing that I usually tell my male clients is that it's unfortunate, but it's true that when you choose someone, because most of the time some males choose women where they feel they can be able to overpower.
Yeah.
Like, as much as that gives you that power in terms of the person is able to be obedient or submissive to you because they're of either the educational level is lower than you, or in terms of the job, they have a job where their salary is slightly less than you.
Yeah.
But you also need to understand that if you are, as given, you are dating me as YENA, who has an NQA level qualification that is way lower than yours, or I'm earning way lower than yours, you must understand then when we get married,
yeah,
that the standard of living is going to be to a certain expense, because you will be carrying most of the financial cost and because I can only contribute this much. However, if you then date another Google who's not YENA, who's at the same, perhaps same AQF level or similar financial salary, then you know that obviously if it's 10 rand and 10 rand, we get 20 rand. So we can probably have a 20 rand lifestyle. But if it's 10 rand and it's 2 rand, we can only have a 12 rand lifestyle. So when you pick your partners, especially as male, make sure, because I emphasize on males, because usually it's males who bring this up when we have these divorce conversations. And you find that he's frustrated now. And you're like, but my guy, at the beginning, you know that YENA was at this level. And at the beginning, you knew that YENA was at this salary level. And you become frustrated. So be realistic in terms of what is it that you want, and discuss those shared financial values. And one last thing before we close, given the second to last, is make sure that you're both financially independent. As much as, yes, when you get married, you will have consolidated. We'll speak next week how you can run finances when in a marriage. But it's important that whilst you're dating, you are both financially independent. So if ever anything happens to YENA, Joe is still able to live and financially and be fine, and vice versa. And then the last thing is that, please, as soon as you know and you are certain that YENA is in love with Joe is in love with YENA, and they want to build a future together and get married, get premarital financial counseling.
Oh, yes.
It is very, very important. I cannot emphasize this. Some premarital financial counseling is set as a topic under premarital counseling. Other premarital counselors actually invite experts to come during their session and sit with the couples. And I know there's also offerings where you get just purely that, so you can find people that are aligned with your values, your religions, and so on. But make sure that you do that. And another mistake, given what happens, that most people go for premarital financial counseling or premarital counseling when they know. So Given and I have decided we want to get married, and we set a date that we're going to get married on the 3rd of March. Then we go to premarital counseling. That is not the right way to go about it. Not when you have the dates. You need to make sure that you go before, when you know the two of you want to build that future together, because there's certain things that the two of you who have been dating may have not discussed or talked about, and you have different perspective, and it nudges you to think and apply your mind differently. And in those sessions, sometimes given there's irreconcilable differences that rises. So
true.
if you and when those things come, you find that when we have set a date of 3 March, because of all the social pressure, we are unable to step back. Sometimes it's a matter of, okay, yes, ideally we wanted 3 March, but because of these things, we need to give ourselves time and not marry in 3 March and maybe get married a month later. But when you've set the date and sent invites, it becomes a little difficult. And when you force it, that's when sometimes you get these marriages that don't last.
Yeah. No, what I'm getting here, YENA, is that as churches and as society, we really must do more early. Encourage and teach our children to do these things early. And I'm thinking there's not even one church that should do without this information and without a service of this nature being built into the structure of the church. You can see them turning 18. When a young lady is 18, you must automatically know that somebody's looking at them. If they come in with this type of information, this can save us a lot of time. Look, Liana, my time is truly up. Where do we find Maisha?
We find Maisha Financial Services on www.maishafinancialservices.co.za. We are on all social media platforms at Maisha_FS or Maisha Financial Services. You can DM us on all our social media platforms. We will respond to you. And you can email us on admin@maishafinancialservices.co.za. Next week, we're talking, we're married, now what? How do we handle that? People can please given, because I want this session, especially for this month, for people to pop up questions if they comment on the and have questions so that we can respond to things that are really
because I imagine there will be a lot of questions on this one as well. So I will forward the questions and we can start with the questions. Maybe spare 2 minutes and start with the questions. YENA, thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you, Given, and good evening to your listeners.
There you go. There you go. That's YENA. It's not easy, right, to talk about money, especially at the mjolo level, at the courtship level. Let's be politically correct. But YENA is here to teach us how to handle the difficult conversations. I look forward always to hear from YENA. She's on next week, Wednesday, but you can send those questions even on Facebook. We're live right now on Facebook as well. Kapse Council, Cape Pulpit on Facebook. Go look for us there.
You are tuned to Radio Cape Pulpit.